discuss the concept called matplotlib. So what is this matplotlib? It's nothing but the library which is available in our data analytics, which is used to draw the graph. So now by using a matplotlib, we can able to handle our data visualization. So this data visualization technology with Python we are handling with matplotlib. So this matplotlib, that is nothing but a grandfather library of Python which was created by John Hunter. So this is developed to replace or which is used to replicate our MATLAB. It's another programming language which mainly used for plotting and machine learning, all those things. This matplotlib will feel exactly like MATLAB. So now this is mainly used for 2D and 3D graphics library for our Python. So now we have some of the major props of matplotlib. That's nothing but we are generally handling a simple plot and we are just creating graph by using a custom labels and a test, and we can able to control our elements by using the figure tag, and we are having a high quality outputs even in many different formats. We can able to customize all these things. And apart from, matplotlibs allow you to create reproducible programmatical figures. So now we are just going to discuss about how to create our matplotlib. So now I am just going to import matplotlib.pyplot. So I just imported this. So now I want to import this matplotlib.pyplot in the name of PLT. So I am just using as PLT. So now we are going to handle one more function that is nothing but inline method of matplotlib. So percentage symbol matplotlib inline. So this is used for when we are just handling this matplotlib another window, we need to use the function name called plot.show. So this is used to end of the time, which is used to act like a return 0. So by using this commands only, the other IDEs which can able to load our matplotlib figure. But Jupyter Notebook, there is no need of our matplotlib show. So instead of, we are using this matplotlib inline. So by using this, what will happen is, when we are again reopening this IDE, by default our graph, we can able to view our created graph. That's the reason why we are using this percentage matplotlib inline. So now we are just walking through to create a simple numpy arrays. So now I am going to create a numpy array. So I need a import numpy as np. X is equal to numpy dot line space I am given. So I am giving a 0, 5, 10. So 0 to 5, total 10 elements I am going to get. So y equal to x into 2, x exponential of 2, right? So x value and y value, great. So now we are going to draw a graph. So before starting with this, we will plot a simple plot. PLT. This is nothing but the normal plotting in your matplotlib. Now I am just going to give you one small array. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's show this. Yeah, great. We got the map graph. So now we give 1, 2, 3, 4, which is only one axis. We didn't give another axis. So how matplotlib created? So when we are giving only one array, matplotlib consider this as a 0 axis. That's nothing but an y axis. So x axis, it comes with the automatic index. So for example, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, total 4 elements. So matplotlib starts to consider from 0, 1, 2, 3. So total 4 elements from 0 it will count. So now that's what your x is and this is what your y is. So after this, I want to make one more array. So I am just giving 11, 12, 13, 14. So now the first array which is considered as a x-axis and second array which is considered as an y-axis. Great. So now 1, 2, 3, 4 it's all considered as a x, and 11, 12, 13, 14 which are all considered as a y. So comma r. So why we are using r? Now I want to change my color, so I am just giving this. Right, I got a graph in my red color. So if I am giving something like green, yellow, I will get in the particular color. So I am just giving a green. Great, we got the green color. So by default it will be your blue color. Great. So the next thing what we are just going to do is we are just going to make a plot of X label. So what is this X label? Now I want to add the title for my graph. So x-axis title. See, x-axis title. So then again plot dot y label. So I am just giving y-axis title. Great. So now we have the titles of x-axis and y-axis. Great. So now I want to make the overall title for my graph. So title, I am just giving title. So now this is my graph title, and this is my y-axis title, and this is my x-axis title. So now here I am just giving O. So now instead of the single line curve, we are just getting a O. So this will be considered as a x-axis and this will be considered as a y-axis. The first string is your green and the second string is your O. So this is how your matplotlib works. Great. So our next thing is we are just going to create the same plot for two different variables. Yes, now I am just going to remove this value x comma y. This is what the variable we already created. Let's run. Great. We are having a curve like this for our x and y. So this is how to plot by using our matplotlib. Great. So now we are going to create a multi-plots in the same canvas. So canvas, that's nothing but this full structure which is known as a canvas. Now I am going to create a multiple canvas here. So how to so now we are going to create a multi-plots here. Yeah. So now plot dot subplots, I am just going to create a two plots. So in the same canvas, like this is your canvas, now I am just going to create a multiple plots. So that's what. So plot dot subplots. So now here what we need to do is first we need to give n rows, like how many rows you want to get, and I am just giving n columns, that's nothing but how many columns, then your plot number. These are all that arguments we are just going to pass now. So now n rows, I am just giving 1. So now it will consider as a step 1. So then I am just giving a 2 columns. So now it will be considered as only 2 columns. So now what I am just going to give is 1. This is my plot number 1. So now I need to give values to this. So plot dot plot, we can give, instead of this normal plotting, we can able to give histogram or bar plot, we can able to give whatever itself, but now we are just going ahead with this simple basic plot. So this is your first subplot, this is your plot number, and this is number of columns you want, and this is number of rows you want. So then again I am just going to create one more subplots. So here what we are just going to do is first, that is nothing but number of rows, second index, that is nothing but a number of columns, and third index, that is nothing but a number of plot, which plot number. So now again we need to give which plot and what are the values we need to pass. So now y comma x comma, so I am just giving g asterisk hyphen. So now we will be getting something like this format for our second plot. Let's see how it's going to work. Okay, we are getting an error. What is our error? 1 is not a valid value for ShareX. Supported value are all row like this. So what mistake here we made is, yes, we make a mistake of subplots. It's only subplot. Great. We got our output. So now plot dot subplot, that's nothing but, now I'm just giving how many rows? 1, 2, 1. This is my plot number. So this is my first plot and this is my second plot. So instead of I'm just giving a 2 and here I'm just going to give 1. Let's change. Yeah, this alignment got changed. That's what our plot number is. So the next thing what we are given, that is nothing but our n rows and columns. Let's change the row. I am just giving a 2. So now this is becomes 2 column. Only we having a 2 row and a 2 column. But here you give 1, so it will just go by within 1 by 1 steps. So here you give 2, so it will just classify into 2. So this is how the subplot will work. Great. So the next thing is, we are just going ahead with the another thing in this matplotlib, that is nothing but a object oriented method. So what is this object oriented method? So this object oriented method, that's nothing but we are just going to create one empty canvas. That's nothing but we are going to create a figure objects and then we are just going to call methods or attributes on that object. So this approach is a give more nicer way to deal with your canvas when it is having a multiple plots. So let's we go ahead with this method. So now we are just going to get with our object oriented method. So I am just giving a variable name plot, that's nothing but our matplotlib, and a figure. This is what our object oriented method. So now this is what actually our figure size. So now in this figure size we are just going to get one canvas. Great. Now I am just going to copy this the same thing again. So now what we are just going to do is I am just going to create one axis. So that is nothing but one variable name I am creating. Then I am just creating. Now we are just going to handle with your figure. So this figure, that is nothing but which is mainly used to make some subplots. We can able to make some subplots. So now when you are using this object oriented method, instead of giving the normal plot or the normal arrays, we need to use another attribute method, that is nothing but an add axis. So now I am just giving a figure, that is nothing but this variable name which we just created our canvas here. So next I am just giving add underscore axis. So now I am going to create one array. So 0 0.1, 0 0.1 and I am just giving something like 0 0.8, 0 0.8. Great. So now what is this axis? So why we need this axis? So this axis, that is nothing but I am just giving this as a left, bottom, width, height. So this is nothing but actual size of your graph. So this is nothing but a left, bottom, width and our height. Yes. So this is what our add axis is. Okay, now we are just going to plot our graph. Axis dot plot, our normal inbuilt function, and I am just going to give my two variable names. And now this is blue. You know what is this? That's nothing but my color. Great. So now X label, Y label. You know what is X label, Y label. But this is object oriented method. So now what we need to give is axis. That's nothing but which axis we created dot set underscore X label. So I am just going to give set X label. Okay. So now the next thing is I am just going to do is axis dot set underscore Y label. So now what I am just going to do is set y label. This is my y-axis title. So now I want to give the title as we need to give axis dot set underscore title. So what is my title name? Set title. Yes, it's done. So now I am just going to execute. You just get the same result. Here you can't able to find any difference between this and this. The reason is after creating the figure we just plotted only one plot. We didn't add the multiple plots. So now we will be going to create a multiple plots to understand about what is this axis exactly doing here. Great. So now I'll be just going to copy the same thing because I'm just going to use the object oriented method. Now axis 1 variable name figure dot add axis, that fig, that is nothing but our variable name which we called our plot dot figure. So add underscore axis. So now I am just going to create one small, I'm just going to add giving the axis location. So now what I am just going to give is whatever there, I am just copying this. So simply this is from 0 to 1. So like we need to, the minimum value we need to start from 0.1 and maximum value we need to give with the 0.8. Okay. So now I am going ahead with the another variable name, that's nothing but an axis 2. Now this axis 2, that is nothing but your subplot in your object oriented method. So now I am just going to create axis 2 equal to figure dot add underscore axis. So now we are going to create an one more array, that is nothing but left bottom with height 0.2 comma 0.5 comma 0.4 comma 0.3. Great. So now we just added one more axis here. So left bottom, then with height. Great. So now again just executing. Wow. So this is what left bottom with height is. So left, that is nothing but the distance between this axis and this axis 0.2. So now what I am just going to do is bottom. So bottom I just give 0.5. So here you have a long gap. So then 0.4, that is nothing but a width of this axis, and 0.3, that is nothing but your height. So you can able to hold only 3 values, 0.3. That's what your left bottom with height here is. Okay. So now what we are just going to do is we try to change the elements. Let's, I am just giving a 0 and a 0, 0.8, 0.8. Okay, great. When I am giving a 0, so left bottom, so it is just going ahead the bottom location, starting from this. So 0.8, instead of I am giving a 1, that's nothing but your width and height. So we will be getting a better option here now. So 0 to 1 is the range we can able to give. So this is the actual thing. So now when I am just giving the previous method like your 0.1, because 0.1 percentage is very 0.1. Now what we are just going to do is 0.8. Then again we'll go for a 0.8. Great. So now your size of your figure is little less. So this is what your add axis is. So let's go ahead for this. So this is left right. So I am just giving a 0.1. See, it's overlapped. So for that perspective I am giving a 2. Now we got a gap. So 0.5. So now if I am just reducing 6, see, this is how it's working now. So this is how, what is this add axis is. So now we can able to go for the plot by using your axis. So how to handle the plot? Let me copy the same thing here. So now we have an axis 1 and we having an axis 2. So I am just going to copy this plot which we plotted here. I am just going to plot. I am just going to copy paste here. Great. So now axis 1, that is nothing but your main access, because only Python is an interpreter, it will run line by line. So obviously when we are just executing, it will just get the first element. So now I am just giving here access 1, access 1, access 1, access 1. Great. So now this is for your access 1 values. Great. So what we given is xy, set x label, set y label, everything is fine. Now I'm just going to execute this. Great. We got a graph only in access 1. We didn't get in access 2 because still we didn't define for our access 2. Let's we go and define for our access 2. So now again let's make the one more graph. This is for access 2. So now I'm just going to copy this. So we need to change the variable name because this is the variable name for our second access. So access 2, access 2, access 2, access 2. We'll change some x label. Here I'm just giving access 2 x axis, and then here I'm just giving access to y axis, and let's we go for a title by using access 2. Let's we run this. Great. We got the output, the same output. So now we will do something different by y comma x, and instead of b we'll give something like g. That's nothing but a tree. So now we got the two different plots in the same thing. So now the next thing what we are just going to do is we are going to create a graph which contains DPI. So what is DPI? So DPI, that is nothing but we are just going to give dots per inch, which is mainly used to give more resolution to our graph. So what is the syntax for that? That's nothing but your variable name. Still we need to handle with our object oriented matplotlib only. So plot dot, I am just giving my figure. So I am just giving my figure size. So my size of my figure, and then I am just giving 8,4, this is my actual figure size, and then I am just giving a DPI, that is nothing but 100. So that's nothing but my dots per inch. Let's we run this. We are getting figure size as a name error because I didn't assign the variable. Now we won't get. Great. Now 800, 400 with height, our size of our figure, we got it. Great. So now I am just going to plot a very simple graph. So by using a different method, figure comma axis. So now what we are just going to do is plot dot subplots. So now we are just going to make a subplots here. So now here what we are just going to do is figure size. So now I am just telling 12,3. Great. So now the next thing is I am just going for axis dot plot. So now I am just giving x comma y comma r. So that's nothing but I am just going to plot. This is for x and y. So now as like we need to go for our title, so I am just giving axis equal axis dot set underscore x label. I am just giving x axis, and then again I am just giving axis dot set underscore y label. Again I am just going to give my y axis. So now again I am just giving axis dot title. I am just giving the title. So let's run this. So now we got a error of text object is not callable. Yes, the reason is we forgot the set method. Great. Now again we'll run this. Great. We got the output. So now you give 12,13. So with this 12 and 3 of height, we got our plot. Great. So the next thing what we are going to do is we are just going to save our graph. So how to save? This is a very normal method. So what I am just going to give a figure, that's nothing but our variable name, save figure. It's an inbuilt function. So here we can able to pass a two variable arguments. One is file name and extension, and another one is we can able to add our DPI, so our dots per inch. So now this save figure, the file name.png will go and save where my Jupyter notebook file location is. So this is how to handle a simple graph by using our matplotlib. So we'll just discuss about how to plot a matplotlib graph, that simple plot, and by using a object oriented method. So we'll see you in next session. Bye.